4 games into this 5-game road trip. Really should have came back 3-1 instead of 2-2. Had a good win over Tulane in the middle of the week on the road. From there, went on in to Georgia. Game 1, Nick got off to a good start in the first, second inning. Then after that, we lost command of the strike zone, and we gave up a lot of free bases. You can't do that. We were fortunate enough to keep the score down, believe it or not, when you give up that many free bases, but we weren't able to score. But we can't put our hitters behind the 8 ball in that situation. We were able to come back the next day and swing the bat a lot better, left there swinging the bat a lot better, and started to get more guys swinging the bat with confidence, driving the baseball. We got a lot of doubles and triples, slowly getting our on-base percentage and our slugging percentage up. Still not where it needs to be, but it's coming up. The next day, Sunday, we did a good job of getting out early. Schmitty got us off to a great start, and we got the lead, but we kind of sat on it. We didn't score after the third, and then we had 1 inning where we kind of had some self-inflicted wounds. We had 2 plays that we should have made. We didn't, and then Hogan lost command of the strike zone, and we gave him some free stuff again. That's one thing as a pitching staff we can't do. I mean, we just cannot do it. Especially when where we are as a team that doesn't score a lot of runs, and it did us in. It did us in on a 5-4 loss. When that game right there was very winnable, we just let it get away from us. 1 bad inning. Again, you got to pitch against a 3-run inning, and we didn't. And usually when you fail to pitch against a 3-run inning, you're going to lose the game. And so we come out of there 2-2 instead of 3-1. But I do believe we came out of there better hitters. Hopefully we can continue to build on that, and we'll get to this next road trip in McNeese coming up. They got off to a slow start. They've been playing better lately. I think they're in a 5 or 6 game winning streak. Had a big win against Houston, so they're feeling better about themselves. And then we'll come back here and have a day to work out, and then have Troy coming in this weekend. I think they're around 13-7. So they're playing well. They went 1-2 this weekend against Little Rock. Hopefully we can continue with the hitting and then learn how to finish. We needed to learn how to finish on Sunday, and we didn't finish. So that's the next thing we've got to learn how to do, is be able to finish somebody. We had some opportunities along the way to get runners in from third base throughout that ball game and didn't do it. And, you never know when somebody's going to make a push on you. They made their push. We couldn't hold it off, and because of that, we lose 5-4. So, but I do feel better about our hitters collectively, and so hopefully that can build into McNeese and then build into this weekend against Troy. Open up the floor for questions you have.
Coach, did you originally plan on bringing Hogan in as early as you did, or did you want him to come in later?
No, we wanted Smitty we thought Smitty could maybe go 5, and then Hogan 6 and 7. And then from there, Stokey, 8 and 9. Schmitty had 1 stress inning, which moved Hogan in probably 1 inning early. But yeah, we were piggybacking him behind Schmitty.
Why did you? I think you're talking about starting Harris. So why did you decide to go with him out of the pen? And how do you see his role kind of?
Well, right now we have to build his pitch tolerance up, and we didn't want him going out as a starter. We felt we needed to get off to a good start, and we had set up Schmitty for that, to get us off to a good start and have a shortened start again because of his other start that he had. So we thought it was better to bring him out of the bullpen and maybe throw 6 outs, something like that, and then kind of see where he was. We didn't want to get him in trouble in the first inning or something if he was going to be a little rusty, and then all of a sudden we off to a bad start. We wanted to make sure that we got off to a good start, which we did. The inning he worked prior to the second inning was really good. I mean, it was lights out. So we felt really good that he'd be able to get another inning in for sure, maybe a third one. And then we could have made 1 or 2 plays for him, I think, that gets him out of the inning to where he does probably get a third inning. But then his pitch count went up a little bit, and he lost a little command of the strike zone. So But that's what we wanted. We wanted to try to get off to a good start.
How do you see his role evolving as you build him back up? And could he maybe stay in the pen all the way? Or
I don't know. We'll see. We're going to slowly build him back up again, and then work from there. We'll talk about it as coaches. We got in late last night. We'll talk today, or actually tomorrow probably, as coaches, and see kind of how we want to line up this week and see what his role is going to be. He just has to build back up his tolerance, and I think after he does that, he'll be fine.
You think you can keep the two on Sunday because they obviously both pitch that?
Who's that?
Do you think you're going to keep a combination of Colton and Hogan on Sunday?
No, Colton's going to settle back in somewhere as a full-blown starter. We just shortened it to where we'd have both those guys first this Sunday.
In terms of just going at this point of the season, how do you stress the sense of urgency, even though it's early in the Sun Belt season for your team? I know you're talking about finishing, so how do you stress the sense of urgency? Because it's easy for someone to say, okay, we just started Sun Belt play. So how do you stress that sense of urgency?
Well, the big thing I think you got to do is you got to just work to become as good as you can in all three facets of the game. One, we have to strive to get 3 good pitching performances. We didn't get a good one on Friday, but he's been good. And then Jack picked him up. There's been a weekend where Nick's thrown very well, but then Jack stumbled. So we're trying to continue to work there and get 3 good pitching performances. That's the one thing you want to do. Overall, we've pitched good, but on the weekend, you want to try to get 3 good pitching performances. And then from there, play defense, which we have. We're at the top of the league in defense. Our defense has been very good all year. We need to keep it where we're starting to turn double plays now, which is going to help because it's going to reduce the pitch count on our pitching staff so that the starters can maybe go a little deeper. And then thirdly, you got to hit. You got to score runs. And, we're just over 200 now in our batting average, to 209. I'm not a real big average person, but our slug's not where it needs to be, and our on-base percentage needs to be higher also. Those two things, if you look what our slug was on Saturday and our on-base percentage, it was through the roof. That's what led to the run score. So the big thing we've got to do is continue just to focus to stay as good as we can in all 3 of those areas. And if you can get better in all 3 of those areas, then you're going to ultimately be a better baseball team. Because if you don't score runs, then it's hard to win in this business. You got to be able to score runs, and then you've got to try to be the same hitting group collectively every night out. You're not going to score 12 and 13 runs a game. That's not really always doable. But what you can do is be very competitive throughout your lineup, night in and night out, and that's kind of what we have to keep growing to where we don't have a guy have a big Friday and then he struggles Saturday and Sunday. Be able to have what we call a weekend. At the end of a week, our SIDs always try to put up a hitter or a pitcher of the week. We always talk about that we've got to fight to put up a pitcher, fight to put up a hitter for pitcher and hitter of the week. That means we had a good weekend. And so that's kind of how you create urgency is you stay working on the 3 things that you can control and don't start to get off on stuff that you can't control. I think we can control the 3 things that we're talking about. I saw us swing the bat better Saturday, so if we can carry that on, that's going to definitely help. I think it's going to definitely help the pitching because if you pitch under that duress all the time, it can start to suck the life out of you. You have to, start feeling that I've got to make this pitch. I've got to be able to strike this guy out. I can't give up this run right here. If you look at the pitch count for Jack Burke, once we pulled ahead and got that lead, it was 7 pitches, 8 pitches, 9 pitches. He just went out there and challenged people, but he had to score in his favor. And man, you can as a pitcher, you can throw unstressful innings. We finally did to somebody what people have been doing to us. On Saturday, we made their starter throw 28, 29 pitches in an inning, stress pitches, and then we sent him right back out after 9 pitches, and we broke him in that inning. That's how you break an arm. You break an arm with stress pitches. And then on Smitty the other day, he had a stress inning of about 20-something pitches, but we had a very long at-bat before he had to go back out, so we protected him. you've got to protect your pitcher, especially when you're going to start to get into 90, 100-degree heat out here. Anything above 15 pitches is really a stress inning for pitchers. We talk about it all the time in our pitcher-catcher meetings. Anything above 15 pitches in an inning is usually not good. In the big leagues, they average 11 to 15 pitches an inning. And if you track it, the big league level, anything above the 15th pitch becomes a stress inning. So if a pitcher's throwing 22, 23, 24, 25 pitches, even though he gets out of that inning with only 1 run, that's not the most danger it's done. It's the next inning that he's going to go back out. You've got to come in as hitters and prolong that inning and not have that guy come out and throw a 7 to 8 pitch inning and send your guy back out to face 2, 3, and 4 after you've just sucked a lot of life out of him. So that's what we have to kind of collectively keep getting better at. We did a good job of it Saturday, and that's why we broke their arm.
In terms of the midweek games, obviously your goal is to win #1, but is there any other goal in the midweek games that you want to accomplish against this week?
Well, we want to continue to get better. I mean, that's what you want in the midweek games, is continue to get better. And again, there's 3 things you do in this business. You know, you've got to pitch, you got to play defense, and you hit. And so we want to keep continuing to get as good as we can in those 3 things. And collectively, our hitters keep building on what they did this weekend, be able to hit the baseball, drive the baseball, be able to collectively stay in innings longer. We chased a lot of starters. We made them use a lot of arms, which we haven't been able to do throughout the season. A lot of starters have gone the distance on us. So we ran some people. We chased some arms. Which is a good thing. That's what you want to do. And you have to do that collectively as hitters, because when that pitcher's on the edge of getting knocked out of the game, one bad at bat and letting him off the hook and go in there and rest, he can actually come back out and finish you. And that's what good hitting teams do against pitchers. They put them under duress from the first inning, and they keep them under duress until they can just kind of suck the life out of them. We haven't been able to do that throughout the year. Pitchers have been able to kind of, sit on us and go deep into the 6th, deep into the 7th. Well, on 3-game series, you don't want to do that. You want to try to get in people's bullpens as much as you can. So in the middle of the week, what we want to try to do again is get back out, stay grinding, keep our defense where it's been. It's been good. Make the critical plays at the critical time of the game. Our pitchers got to get us off to good starts, and then collectively as hitters, we got to be able to lengthen the field, and that means slugging percentage and on-base percentage needs to continue to climb.
You mentioned this in the answer previous, but about like pitching with Lee and Burke and just having consistency throughout the weekend. You guys have been in position to win series in a decisive game at least 3 times in the 4 series that you played.
Yep.
Does the message change any about getting that edge, or is it still staying the course, blocking out the noise?
No. The big thing that you want to do is you want to grow in certain areas, and one area that we need to grow in is to be able to finish. I mean, if you win 1 in a series, that's half your goal, because ultimately you want to win all 3 in your series. But the biggest thing you want to do is come out of there with winning the series. That's your number 1 priority. And if you get the first 2 in order, then you know what, you play in Sunday with house money. But it's so difficult to get 3 good pitching performances all the time, hit all 3 days. So what you want to focus on is you want to focus on winning the series. And we let the Texas series get away from us. So we let this series get away from us. So again, that's why we're talking about we've got to learn how to finish. You got to finish. Winning 1 game is one thing, but to finish off the series is what you want to be able to do, especially when you have the lead, and you got off to a good start. You want to be able to finish. And so that's kind of what we talked about on Sunday. We felt we grew a little bit as hitters collectively. Now what we got to do is just learn how to finish a series, whether that's making the play defensively, whether it's getting in a hit here or a hit there, or a pitcher coming out of the bullpen and getting his job done. It's those 3 areas that you want to learn how to finish in.
I know you probably get asked this question every year, but when you go back to the East, the memories flood back at all? Do you have any?
Well, it's it's where we started, but it's a lot of time has gotten inside of it. So I appreciate them. Last year they brought me back, put me into their Hall of Fame. I appreciate that by them. They didn't have to do that. But outside of any emotions or anything, not really. I mean, it's where my kids grew up. Those things, from playing on the field and helping us on the field and stuff, Colleen and I. Outside of that, we left a lot of good people behind that we really appreciate that helped us grow the program. Frank Landry's passed away. Now he's lost his son before he passed away. So the indoor facility across the street was named after his son when he lost his son before he passed. So there's a lot of good people there that really helped us, through it, that I'll always respect. But other than that, the players are gone that I recruited and everything. So Justin Hill and I are good friends. Those guys do a good job down there. They're well coached, and they've done a good job with the program. So it will not be easy, going in there. This week we're going to have to score some runs. That ballpark sometimes is conducive, depending on where the wind's blowing, to score some runs in it. But no, there's a lot of appreciation for the past, but we've really moved on since then. But we'll always respect. That's where we started. Somebody gave me a chance at 25 years old. Not many people are going to hand over a Division I baseball program to somebody that's 25 years old. So I'm ever indebted to them for that. To be able to trust somebody at that age to take over a Division I baseball program.
What most impresses you about LaHair and the way he plays?
He plays with an edge. He plays with an edge. He plays with. He thinks he's better than you. If we can get that all the way through the other 8 hitters, that's then it becomes a tough hitting team to face. You want your hitters to believe that I'm better than you, the pitcher. And then not get it to a point to where it consumes you, like with arrogance versus a belief system. You'd like to see that out of your defenders. You'd like to see that out of the pitcher on the mound too. And when you can get enough of that, coaches will tell you, then you have something. So I flipped him to lead off because I like trying to send a message to their pitcher right off the bat. So we had Caleb Adams lead off, for that 58-win team. Such a big physical guy that when he swung the bat, you felt it. And so I just like a pitcher knowing that, man, if this is their leadoff hitter, what are the other 8 like? But we got to get there. The 58-win team had that. When you passed Caleb, you went, man, I wonder who. And then you had the rest of those guys coming up, Jace and Harrison and Kerstad and all that bunch. Strentz. That's a they put pitchers under duress. Think about that. I was told a team the other day, we have 11 losses. That team lost 10 all year. So think about that for a minute.
Obviously, you guys are focused on the East first, but what are some of the challenges that Troy brings to the table this weekend?
Well, they're playing good. They're 13-7. They did drop, 2 out of 3 this weekend to Little Rock. Little Rock is better. I think the teams in our league are better. I think Jeff can attest to this, but I think our conference RPI right now is what, 5? 7. Okay, so hopefully the conference can continue to grow and get better. We want it. You want your conference to be as good as it can get, but they're settling in under their coach because their other coach had retired, and so now he's starting to get in more of his players, and so they're going to bring a good baseball team. They're hitting around, 264 somewhere in there, but they pitching good too. I think their ERA is 3.8 something. Jeff gave me, so they got an ERA of under 4. So everybody right now is good to us because when your slug is down where ours is, your on base percentage, you're gonna play in close games. So it felt good Saturday to finally separate ourselves from somebody. You know, we got to continue to learn how to separate ourselves from somebody and try not to play under duress so much. I don't think Troy is the one that poses us the problem. I think it's us. We've always kind of focused on us. I felt it was us that not to be disrespectful to our opponent on Sunday, but I felt it was us that lost the game. It was us that gave it away. So hopefully we can control us. It's hard when somebody's coming in and, you have no control over what can happen. But they will pose a good test for us because they're a good baseball team. And they're 13-7. They're playing well. But they are on the road. Hopefully we can use, our fans and our home advantage here to help us throughout that weekend. More than likely, yes, sir.
I know it wasn't what you maybe envisioned, but how much has the starting experience that he has gotten because of the Hogan situation?
A lot of time things work out for the best. When they work out, sometimes things can look really bad at the beginning, and some good can come out of it. And I think that's one thing that has come out of it. We've put him in so many tough positions, especially that start against Kentucky. At Minute Maid was very, very difficult start for a true freshman, man. He only had one way to survive. It was to change speeds back and forth. And if he didn't, he wasn't going to survive that start. And he got us all the way to 5 1/3, I think. He pitched exceptionally. So it's made him better. I think it's made him calmer. And I know we trust him. He's not. I like him because he's a little bit like Jack Burke. He's not real emotional. I don't like too much emotion because when you have to teach somebody how to change speeds on their fastball, with that fastball easy and that fastball extra, it's nothing but finger pressure. And the more that guy is all full of emotion, it's very, very hard for a guy to do what we need him to do, full of wild emotion. And I think Jack's like that, and I think he's like that. He's not real emotional, and he gets out there and he just focuses on executing the pitch that's been called, and I think that benefits him. And we'll need that over there because they're playing well right now. They've got a big win over Houston, so they're feeling better about themselves, and that's a ballpark that they can score some runs in, and I think they're going to have a pretty good crowd there. So he'll again be under duress again. But all this is helping us because when you look at Batty and him for their sophomore years, they're going to be. You're almost going to be looking into the face of a junior or a senior in their sophomore years because of the duress that they've been put under. So I think he's prepared for it. I think what we have to do is we've been able to play good defense, stay there, and then hopefully we're in a ballpark that conducively you can hit in. So hopefully that helps us coming off the Saturday game where we left there feeling better about ourselves as hitters. Well, we've done with him and Coker is the right-handed curveball and slider was hurting us. The only way to defend that is you got to defend it with left-handed hitters or find a right-hander that can hit a breaking ball. And you can search the country for me. Whenever you find one, you call me, okay? So Hank Aaron asked him one time, how do you hit the fastball? He said, I swing hard. And he said, how do you hit the curveball? He said, I swing harder. So finding good curveball hitters are not always the easiest thing to do. To combat that, you'd like to have a mix of left-right in your lineup. Well, we've got Danny, we've got LaHare, we've got the switch out of Cantrell, so he's able to flip over for us left when we face right. And then we got Castles. So we were getting beat up a little bit by the right-handed slider and the curveball, so we took Coker and Ramos and dumped them into the lineup. Now that gives us five lefties. So that has definitely helped us greatly because even though they don't have a lot of experience playing-wise, they at least have the opportunity to take away that curveball and that slider, because most right-handed pitchers, when they see lefties, they stop throwing the breaking ball. They go to the changeup. So at least you take away that guy's slider or his curveball, potentially with 2 more batters. So now we have 5 guys in the lineup now that's helping us. And both those guys have done good jobs for us, especially without a lot of playing time. And they've really helped us against those right-handed guys. And you look this weekend, you know, all 3 starters were righties, and they didn't have a lot of left-handed pitching. Now we'll have to manipulate a little bit when we face somebody that's got more lefties out of the bullpen. But this weekend they didn't have but 1 lefty, so it matched up good against us by being able to play those 2 left-handed hitters.